the results are based on European and African, or specific Europeans and specific Africans. Because in Cape Verde, pretty much those people that are mixed with Portuguese and African, meaning Guinea-Bissau, 100% pure sub-Saharan. So when I pretty much was reading up on that country and the people and everything like that, I was like, okay. And then I read a little bit more, and apparently the Portuguese, they were the first inhabitants of those islands. There are 10 islands. And so they were going to have slaves on the islands to work it. And also a lot was going on with Bermuda as well. Bermuda and Cape Verde apparently were like two stops to the Caribbean. So a lot of the European slave traders, they were stopping in Cape Verde and also in Bermuda before they reached the Caribbeans. And then I also read that the Caribbeans, they had slaves, not just African, sub-Saharan, West African, but they also had slaves from the Americas, meaning the indigenous Americans. But anyway, and then there was a lot of mixing and moving the slaves from the Caribbeans to the States, the Caribbeans to the States. And South Carolina apparently was a huge slave transport location. And then the slaves were dispersed throughout the states, the southern states. So yeah, I was learning about that too, because I was like, okay, maybe my results, the high results on the high resolution section, which was part C, that showed the Caribbeans, which Jamaica, Haiti, and the Bahamas, and New Providence. Yeah, those scores are pretty high too. So I was like, okay, I'm thinking maybe they're high because maybe my ancestors were transported and mixed and all that stuff, and they ended up in the Caribbeans, and then eventually they ended up in South Carolina, and then went to Virginia, North Carolina, whatever. That is possible. And then I was like, okay, how in the world I have genetic close cousins, if you want to say, in Ecuador? Like, what is that all about? I didn't even know anything about having any type of connection to South Americans. I mean, I really didn't. And then I was like, okay, well, I did a little research on Ecuador, and apparently some Spaniards were on a ship on that side of the hemisphere or the Pacific Ocean, and they had some sub-Saharan African slaves, and the ship wrecked or something, and the slaves escaped and they hid, and that's how they ended up there. Now they're dealing with some, very racist type situations, and when I was reading about the country and how they treated the Black Ecuadorians, I was just disgusted. I mean, I really was. I mean, it's ridiculous how racism in that country is like I was looking at the 1960s civil rights movement type thing. I was very disappointed that the Black or African descent Ecuadorians are still going through a lot of to me, it reminds me of the segregation laws, pre-civil rights movement type stuff. So I'm a little frustrated about that. I'm really not happy about that. And again, I don't have any kind of personal connection with the Ecuadorians, but after getting my results, I'm like, okay, those are my people too. And then I went to the world region map, and Sahelian was like the top score from that result. And I was very like I was a little like surprised it was Sahelian and not sub-Saharan. Um, because, you know, with all of my sub-Saharan, West African, pretty much my dots were all over the place. Of course, they were the lower end, you know, as far as my results, but uh, all in all, and a lot of us believe this, including myself, that all people came from Africa, so it's not a big deal, you know. But I was just surprised that the Sahelian section of Africa was where a lot of my world connection, I guess, with the movement and transporting and stuff, that region.